What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, and first and foremost, I have to say that I recorded a very good episode, at least in my opinion, because I'm not very good at this. Almost 20 minutes long. Went to go watch it back, and there was no sound. Such is the life as someone who doesn't know what they're doing and just starting out. For some reason, I didn't test the mic first. I don't know why. I'm frustrated. But now that I've calmed down a little bit, here we go. Take 2. What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, and I am here with my first official video for my channel. I was trying to decide what to do with my channel, and luckily for me, Being the Elite, BTE, had their 200th episode, which is a monumental feat, and I figured, great, I will watch it, recap, review it, and I'll do that as my first episode here. So, first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to Howard Finkel, the Fink, who unfortunately passed away a few days ago. He was the voice of wrestling, one of the greatest ring announcers of all time. If you even had some inkling of wrestling, you've probably heard his voice, him call, "and new champion." I was lucky enough to see in 1998 at SummerSlam at Madison Square Garden. He actually got to join DX for a day. I was a huge fan of DX at the time, so this was kind of cool. But yes, unfortunately, he has passed away. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family, to his family and friends. Once again, sorry to hear the passing of the Fink. And now onto the crux of the episode, Being the Elite, episode 200, recap and review. First and foremost, go watch that first, come back here, watch me next, and then do whatever you need to do. What is Being the Elite, you may ask, if this is your first time ever even hearing about it and you're just here to see me, which, let's face it, that's obviously not going to happen. Being the Elite is a travel vlog set up by Matt and Nick Jackson, which documented their travels as wrestlers in various promotions, both in the United States and abroad. And as their popularity grew, the channel grew, and the production value of it grew, they started implementing storyline elements to the promotions that they were wrestling in, predominantly ROH, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. And they included a lot of their friends who were their fellow stablemates in Bullet Club: Kenny Omega, Cody, Adam Cole, R.I.P. Bebe, Flip, Marty Skrull. So it got really interesting. I was not one that was on the bandwagon from the beginning. I will fully admit that. As they grew in popularity, I started to become more known of them. And probably over the last year and a half to 2 years, I binged every episode to get myself to current, watching it on three episodes a day on my travels to work, to and from. I couldn't get enough of it because it was really entertaining, and you could see the progression of them and their popularity and just everything about them as the episodes grew. So all the way to now, episode 200, and I apologize if you see me looking down a lot. I took a lot of notes because I wanted to kind of be official with this and be as descriptive as possible, and also because I just watched it only a couple hours ago and I definitely don't remember everything. So first and foremost, we'll recap BTE 199 that set it up. It was actually a 3-parter. In episode 2, they had what they call the Under the Limit Battle Royal, which included SCU, which is Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Brandon Cutler, the Librarian, Peter Avalon, Simon Lotto, and Stephen Andrews, who I have been identified as jobbers in the past couple episodes, but I've known the Young Bucks for many years, I guess. I looked that up. And then obviously Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. Nick Jackson won the Under the Limit Battle Royal, and the stipulation was the winner gets to choose the match and the opponent that they want on episode 200. So he said he wanted his brother Matt in a match at episode 200. Part of the reason was because he had suffered a recent injury at the hands of the Inner Circle on an episode of Dynamite, Wednesdays on TNT, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, cheap plug. And he also had a new baby, so Mazel Tov for that. So he's been off of TV, recuperating, and obviously being a new dad. So here I go. Here is my recap and review of episode 200. So we start off, which I really enjoyed. One of the things that Being the Elite does in the beginning of every episode is they have an introduction. They've used kind of 8-bit graphics. They've used live action. So they kind of did a compilation of all of the various introductions they've done over the years, which is really cool to see, especially, like I said, someone like myself who's just recently kind of, over the last 2 years have binged everything, so I've gotten to see everything and the progression of that. We find out that it is a Falls Count Anywhere match. We also see that there's no ring there. So based on the episode itself, they didn't need a ring, and I'll get to that later on. So it's just the tennis court. Nick wants to prove that he's 100% back in wrestling shape. And it's a very, very tough fought match. Once again, I'll get to that. I'll get to as many spots as I can. They take it really seriously on one another. They're doing a lot of spots, chops, punches, kicks, all their highlighted moves. They're really here to hurt each other in this match and prove that, who's the better brother. Matt being the older, Nick being the younger. So, you hear chops, they echo in the patio area by the tennis court. I see a back body drop on the concrete, and that's where I knew, okay, this is serious. They're going all out. They're not just gonna phone this in. This is episode 200. This is legit. So as they're fighting there, the fight moves actually to off the tennis court, where Matt and Nick Jackson start fighting on a golf cart, not on top of it, but in the golf cart, to which Nick starts to drive, and the ref jumps on the back of it, and he hits reverse by accident, almost crushing the ref, who turns out to be their other brother. I actually didn't, I'll fully say I knew he looked familiar, but I just didn't recognize him at first, and obviously later on I saw on Twitter that it was their other brother, which was really cool, that it was a family affair. So they're driving through the compound, through the area, and they end up by the gym, Nick's home gym that he has, that we actually see often in Being the Elite episodes, where they're working out or storyline elements take place, but they're there. There's a series of near falls there, and then to the point where Nick says, I want to show you my backyard, as they're fighting. And as they're fighting, there's a really cute scene that goes to silent, and it shows in the house Nick's 2 children are watching their dad and Uncle Matt fight each other, and then Nick's wife pulls down the curtain like, okay, nothing to see here, just Dad and Uncle Matt fighting. So now we go to, so they're fighting in the backyard. There's a lot of suplexes going on the grass, but still just looking vicious. They actually start implementing instant replay into it, which is really cool. You're really seeing the production value of even just a match that has no bearing on any kind of real storyline elements or AEW in particular, that they're taking it seriously, though. You even get some drone footage. And then you see Matt's locomotion suplex spot, where he does various Northern Light suplexes, and he does 5 of them, to which Nick even says, he's like, I can't believe he did 5. I don't know if he's impressed or if he's just in pain, and that's why he knew that there was 5. But it was very impressive to see, especially because the focus by Nick is Matt's back, which has been a focus on Matt pretty much in every match he's in. They go for his back because he's had back problems in the past. Just the way he goes. So they end up fighting to a point where Matt is laid out on a table, to the point where he's saying, don't do this, Nick. Nick gets up on the deck that's directly above the table, and he's, screw this, he's going to do it. And he proceeds to do a swanton bomb a la Jeff Hardy through the table. For one, I thought Nick was going to break his back, his legs, his ankles, something, because that was just brutal. Only a near fall, though, 2 count. So then they proceed to keep fighting through the backyard into the pool area, where Nick tries to drown Matt. His older brother tries to drown him in the pool. Matt is not happy about that, even says, are you trying to kill your brother? Matt starts to mount some offense back. They start to fight on the diving board, kind of like walking the plank. and then perform a Canadian Destroyer. Matt performs a Canadian Destroyer on Nick into the pool. Really cool spot. We get an instant replay for that. To which Matt then screams at the ref to get in the pool. So the ref jumps in the pool, goes for a 3 count, but only gets a 2. They finally make their way out of the pool. You can see that they're exhausted. They're tired. They're hurt. And then Matt looks at Nick, and Nick says, "Do you want to see a magic trick?" Matt says no. And for those of you that keep up on Being the Elite, that is a prelude to Nick doing his merch freak gimmick, where he kind of imitates a Chris Angel-like character and does various types of magic trick, often using Young Bucks merch, which is obviously a huge also part of them and their popularity and their business is selling a lot of merch. I mean, that's kind of a lot of what wrestlers, where they make their money is merch sales. So he does all these different kinds of tricks. He snaps his fingers. Guys are wearing shirts that they weren't wearing before. It's very entertaining and funny. As someone who is a amateur magician, aka I learned a couple of magic tricks and my bar mitzvah was magic themed. That's about all I got. I always appreciate it. So he snaps his fingers, to which Matt wakes up and he's looking around and he's like, "Where am I?" And he's dressed up like Marty Jannetty from the Rockers, and he's in the barbershop scene, harkening back to the barbershop incident of the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty back in the early 90s, when Shawn Michaels officially turned heel, super kicked Marty Jannetty and threw him through the barbershop window, setting Shawn Michaels on they put the rocket strap on him, and Marty Jannetty not so much. So I think this was obviously a callback to the Firefly Funhouse match that took place at WWE WrestleMania weekend. I think they really enjoyed that match and kind of saw that as an opportunity to do kind of a play on it. And so Matt gets kicked through the barbershop window, and and so he gets kicked through the barbershop window, eventually recovers, comes back to reality where he's back on the deck, gets hit in the back with a shovel. I don't know if that is a harkening back to I don't know why I keep saying harkening back, but anyway. I don't know where if they're going for a boneyard match kind of innuendo there, or just, because that was handy and available, so he used a shovel. Nick uses a shovel on Matt's back. So then they start to fight on the deck there. You get a nice long shot seeing the offense between the two of them. Matt hits Nick with a sit-down powerbomb on the wood deck, which is a brutal spot. Hopefully Nick is all right. He'll be okay after this. To a 2 count. But then you see Matt really upset, really angry, really, just really upset with Nick. Like, why are you you're taking this so seriously, to the point where, is he worried that either one of them is going to hurt the other, or is it going to strain their brotherly relationship? You could see all the emotion on his face, where he's just visibly upset. And then something kind of snaps in Matt, where he's like, well, if he's going to take it to this level, I need to step it up. And then hits him with a tombstone. And then he says, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. And he pulls out the boot with the tacks on it, which is a callback to my favorite tag team match of all time. It's a PWG match. If you haven't seen it, go see it on YouTube. Watch BTE 200 first, then my recap and review, then watch this match. It's a PWG match, tag team match between the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, versus Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan. It is amazing. You even have Kevin Steen, aka Kevin Owens, on commentary at the time. One of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. It is just brutal. It's awesome. Do yourself a favor, if you enjoy wrestling, watch that match. So anyway, back to the match. Matt puts on the boot and says, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this. I'm sorry. I love you. Which we even get the closed captioning because he says it so low, which is a callback to Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, WrestleMania. I should have looked that up before I did this, but it was a WrestleMania match. It was Ric Flair's final match, to which Shawn Michaels super kicked him and won the match, and that's when Ric Flair retired. So he hits him with the super kick with the tacks on it. Nick is all bloodied. Nick falls off the deck into some boxes. Matt goes down. 1, 2, 3. The Battle of the Brothers is over. Matt Jackson is victorious. They then sit up on the deck, both battered, bloody, bruised, exhausted, and they just have a conversation of why Nick wanted this match, not only just to show that he was back to 100%, not only to shake off the ring rust of being out of action for a couple of weeks, but in these times with everything that's been going on, we're all looking for entertainment. We're all looking for something to latch on to keep us happy, put a smile on our face, because we can't see our loved one. Not most of us. We can't see our loved ones. We can't go to work. We can't. Some of us are losing our jobs, not able to make the money that we normally would. I mean, there's just so much uncertainty and so much stress out there that things like professional wrestling are there to kind of give us an escape. Not even during a pandemic, just in general, just give us an escape from our lives, our reality. And this did not disappoint. This was exactly what we needed. It was gritty, it was brutal, it was entertaining, it was funny. Everything that you expect from the Young Bucks and Being the Elite and AEW wrestling. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a great time. But it's not over. They then hit a montage of the last 200 episodes, and you get to see some great scenes. The invasion, the splitting up when they had their beef with Kenny Omega and Ibushi, the Golden Lovers, the murder of Adam Cole and kicking him out of Bullet Club. He's not actually murdered. Just that was a terrible link. But it was just, and as I keep saying, as someone who's just recently binged it the last 2 years, it was just really cool to see. And how Nick is actually the one that edits all of these. You see him pull down the laptop. He's finally done, and then they cut to a shot of Matt and Nick Jackson getting into their car, still all beat up. And Matt says, I don't know where we go to next. To which Nick says, well, there's still that one thing, and we get the classic BTE piano solo, which I really do enjoy, and usually means some kind of really good scene. I don't know if maybe it's a reconnecting with Hangman as their relationship has been strained. I'm not sure yet, but once again, it was really entertaining, really great episode. Congratulations on 200 episodes. Here's to 200 more. I mean, any channel that's able to put up 200 episodes is just a testament to their popularity, their creativity, just everything about them that makes them the Young Bucks and makes them so widely popular and just universally loved. I'll be lucky if I get past this one video. If anyone even listens, watches this video, who knows? I hope they do, because that would be really cool. So what's next? What's next for me? That actually, thank you, Matt. You actually gave me kind of something to think about. What's next? So right now, I was, as I said in my introduction video, I don't know, what I'm really going to be doing exactly. I have a lot of interests, a lot of opinions, movies, television, video games, comics. Obviously, there's not a lot on the movie front, and I'm not really going to do like movie news. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm not a journalist like that. And there's 1,000,001 people that do that. Maybe I'll do reviews, or if something really monumental happens, maybe I'll do a video for that. But right now, professional wrestling is it's every week. It's always new. So what I figured I'd do is a recap of the week, because I don't think I have the bandwidth to be able to do a recap of every single episode of both AEW shows and WWE shows. So what I decided was I'll do a recap of the week, kind of like a weekend review of both AEW and WWE. So for AEW, that'll be Being the Elite, Dark, Dynamite, and then with WWE will be Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and any kind of news and rumors maybe that I hear about. If I want to jump on some of those, maybe I'll do that. So that's where I'm going to go with, and so once again, this is my Being the Elite 200 recap and review. Here's my social media stuff. Throw me a like, follow, subscribe to my channel. Hopefully I'll get to do this more. Hopefully I'll get better at it, both with the editing and just my overall delivery of that. I've never been a really good public speaker, so I'm kind of learning as I go. And until next time, bye now.
Let me tell you something, brother. I just watched Being the Elite episode 200, and I loved it. But speaking of brothers, Nick was the one that wanted that match. So how did he lose? You know, if it was me, I would have never let that happen. Wait a second. Are you recording this? Son of a